Unless we're ready to go,
We're golden. Do you want to go ahead and,
I'll open it up.
yep, for public hearing?
Yes, I'd like to start the Coos County Area Transportation District CCAT Board of Directors public meeting at 9 a.m. today. And we would like to open up for public hearing for public testimony in regards to our 2024 fare ordinance. Do we have any public that would like to speak? Okay. Any public that would like to speak? The final call, any public that like to speak? Okay, we'll go into the regular board meeting. Call to order. Could we do a roll call, please, Melissa?
Director Vesey?
Here.
Director Johnson? Director Baker?
Here.
Director Mason Long? Director Dovenspike?
Here.
Director Clausen?
Here.
Director Nelson?
Here.
For the advisory committee, Lauren Morris? Mike Merchant?
Mike's joining us. See his name.
We'll come back, but I do see that he has joined us. Lindsay Ward? Harper Thompson?
Here.
Michelle McIntyre? I see you, Michelle. And Michael Babcock.
Here.
And Mike Marchant, is your microphone working?
It is now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Michelle, are you going to have any difficulties muting or unmuting your microphone?
Michelle, are you working off of a phone?
Yes.
Melissa, if you send her a request to unmute, will that give her a different signal that she can hit in a different spot on her phone?
Yeah. Let's try that. Very good. Michelle, can you say good morning so we can know that your microphone is working? Ooh. Still can't hear you. But...
Wait, I just did. Try again, Michelle.
Good morning.
There we go.
Yay.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, before we go on, we'll close the public testimony and we'll continue with our agenda item. We've got our roll calls.
Lauren Morris did join us as well.
Welcome. So we've got a quorum on both representations. That's excellent. Welcome, Lauren. Okay, do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay, do we have any citizens comment on the agenda items? Any comments, citizens? Any comments, citizens? Thank you. New business, general manager presentation on fares. Go ahead, Melissa.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Move a couple things around on my desktop. There we go. Good morning and welcome to the Fare Strategy briefing for Coos County Area Transportation District. Why we're here today. Today we'll be reviewing the existing fare structure, reviewing operational cost increases. We're gonna benchmark against our peer agencies and review survey results. We're seeking advisory committee and board of directors feedback on our existing fare structures and our potential fare rates. We'll also be hearing the first reading of the fare ordinance. So, guiding our work, we have the following fares framework. We serve passengers with a fare structure that is regionally aligned to encourage transit ridership through equitable and simple pricing and financial stewardship. So, what does it look like today? See all these numbers? Take all of the, if you counted all those numbers, multiplied that by 2, that's the potentiality of the number of fares that we have right now in the system. Basically, our fares there are a multitude of combinations. If you're going from, it's based on point A going to point B, and then there's whether or not you are qualified for a half price fare or not. And so, for example, on the Roseburg route alone, there's 12 different price points depending on what age category or other demographic category you fall in, as well as then where you start the route and where you end the route. So it's very, very complex, and we're asking drivers whose primary goal is driving people safely to then act as a cashier on a very complex pricing system. And it is very difficult then to automate into a self-service fare structure. Fare box recovery. That is the fraction of operating expenses which are met by the fares paid by passengers. So in the fiscal year that we just completed, 6/30 of 2024, our fare box recovery was 7.5%. In 2016-17, our fare box recovery was 10%. I thought it was also interesting to note that in California, there is a legislative expectation for rural transit districts to collect a minimum of 10% system-wide in fare box recovery. And many transit districts have 20% fare box recovery goals. Now, here in Coos County, we know that many individuals are low income. And so I think it is reasonable to shoot for anywhere from 10 to 12% fare box recovery. So as you can see, we are on the low side. Any questions on fare box recovery?
Nope.
I have a question. Just doesn't, I might be I'm bad at math, so I might be understanding this wrong, but doesn't that percentage change based on how many grants you get? Like if you get more grants, doesn't that automatically reduce your overall fare box recovery percentage?
So grants are, so you have your expenses, but your grants generally are cost reimbursement. So, and then we also have some grants that are forward funded, but keep in mind that cash, we need to have some set of aside for cash flow, because we just received notification that things are going pretty slow between ODOT and the federal government. So it could be up to 9 months before we get actual reimbursement of expenses. So we're going to be looking at cash flow and set aside for cash flow so that we can always pay our bills. That's very important. And also, we also need to plan for our capital investments, such as a new building, right? So all these come into play. So from a historical perspective, I thought it'd be interesting to look at 2017. In 2017, we charged fixed route service at $1.25. And the only discounted fare that we offered was to youth between the ages of 6 and 17. And that was at 50 cents a ticket. And then we had dial ride priced at $1.50 in 2017. So you'll see in the 2024 proposal, we're looking at a cash ticket at $1.50 and then a mobile app ticket at $1.25 for a trip. We institute a fare cap for the day at $3.75 and a fare cap for the month at $35 a month. And then Coos Lift, which is our paratransit dial-a-ride service here in Coos Bay North Bend, cash $3 per trip $2.50 and a monthly cap of $70. And then as our STIF funding calls for us to require an investment of 1% for high school students, then we would, we're proposing in the 2024 structure that youth ride for free. Because it seemed weird if we do 0 to 6 is free, and then we have 14 to 18 for free, but then we charge a youth between 7 and 13, 50 cents or some other number that just makes things, again, more complicated for the driver to negotiate. And so with that STIF funding, we would basically indicate that youth up to age 18 would travel for free.
That's a great idea. That way that doesn't confuse the driver. You have no idea how old a kid is. They look 12 and they're really 18 or 19. You can't tell nowadays.
Yeah. So operational cost comparison between 2017 and 2024. So fuel cost per revenue mile was 33 cents. Today it's 58 cents. Staff cost per revenue hour is $29 in 2017. In 2024, it's $46. And then overall operational cost per revenue hour in 2017, $46.44. In 2024, it's $81.52. So you can see fueling increases was 75%, staff cost increases 58%, but overall our operational costs per revenue hour increased 76% when you're comparing those two timeframes. So we did some comparisons with our bordering transit districts, and we also looked at the American Public Transit Association, that's APTA, to get some comparators. And so for a local fixed route, again, that's blue, red, and green here in Coos Bay North Bend. Currently, we're at $1, right? And then in the new proposed, it's $1.50. If you're using the mobile app, $1.25. We want to incentivize using the mobile app. Plus, if someone is paying in cash, the driver counts it, the operations manager counts it, the operations manager takes the cash to the bank. Then the manager then waits for the bank to count it, then brings the receipt over to accounting, and then accounting enters the deposit. So it's very time intensive. And again, so it's to our benefit if we incentivize the use of the mobile app. In APTA, the basically average ticket price is $1.50, and that's just across everyone who participated in that particular survey. It's not necessarily rural versus rural cohort. That's just overall average. And then Curry Public doesn't offer a local fixed route, but Umpqua Public does at $1.50 a trip. Demand response, $2 per ticket. We're proposing $3 cash. $2.50 for the paratransit service because we're required to not exceed. We can't. It has to be ×2 of the fixed route rate. So that's why it's $2.50. And then Coos Go, which is that demand response service in Coquille Myrtle Point and in Bandon, $2.75. And then we have a monthly cap at $70 for the paratransit Coos Lift service and a monthly cap of $77 for the Coos Go. In APTA, the average is $3.20, and Curry Public charges $4, Umpqua charges $3. And if you use a yellow cab, it is variable, of course, depending on where you get picked up and dropped off. But if I plugged in like from the office here out to Davy Jones in Charleston, that is $27. So again, just for a point of reference. Inner city. So this is Coos Bay North Bend to Coquille Myrtle Point. Currently $3. Cash is proposed at $3, so little change there, but 25 cents off if you use the app at $2.75, and if you use the app, then you can have a monthly cap of $77. Now Curry Public, they do $4 a leg, so if Curry Public was going from Coos Bay North Bend to Coquille Myrtle Point, it would be $4. And then we have our regional lines, right? So we have Florence, we have Roseburg. Powers, since it's so such a long distance, I put Powers in this category as well, even though it's not a regional connector. It is quite remote. So currently $8 to $12, proposed is $6 to $12. And then we have a discounted rate, again, if you use the mobile app, and there's a cap on the Florence route, monthly cap of $140. So in APTA, the comparator is $15. And again, Curry Public is a leg. So if we were going from here to Roseburg, and right now there's 6 zones, so that would be 6 times 4, which would be 24. And just to review fare capping, so the benefit of fare capping is that it eliminates the burden of riders to pay for like a punch card or a pass up front. Basically, they pay as they go, and then if they were a daily rider, potentially at the end of week 3, then they would meet that monthly cap, And then that fourth week, they would ride for free. And then it would start over on the first of every month. Powers and Roseburg, since they only run once and twice a week, there wouldn't be a fare cap associated with those. Are there any questions about the comparators?
No, it seems that our system is really fair. I hate to be the pun there, but yeah, even with our increase, we're still more economical than these other areas.
Yeah, and for fun, I went onto AAA, and they gave an average cost of operating a personal vehicle of $523 a month, not including car payments. That would be insurance, maintenance, gas, and registration. I thought that was an interesting fun fact. Lauren?
Got it. Go, Lauren. Lauren Morris, you there? Unmute, but you can't tell me here, so.
Hey, sorry about that. This is my first day of babysitting a 3-month-old, and he decided he was going to be fussy right before I had to get on. So I apologize for being late. So my questions are for places like the Devereaux Center or other people who don't have a bank account or don't have the ability to download an app, but they're the ones that need the lower rates the most. If you could talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Sure. So in the draft fare ordinance, there is what's called the large quantity pass purchases, and that we're proposing that the district will provide a 66% discount to nonprofits to support low-income clients on select fare products with a signed MOU. The nonprofit organization serving low-income clients would share their IRS Form 990 or bylaws showing that that's their mission, and they agreed to distribute discounted passes to only low-income clients at no cost. And I did talk through that with Tara, just to make sure that we were being sensitive to those needs. Great question. Thank you.
Any other questions for Melissa?
Thanks, Melissa.
I have a question about that topic then, Melissa. Do we have an estimate of the percentage of riders currently that are using free passes? Or is that already a policy that we're doing, or is that something you're new that you're proposing?
So we have, and I know David recently did a report on the number of agencies who buys tickets. David, do you want to speak to the agencies who currently purchase tickets?
We have about 10 to 12 who buy from us regularly, and regularly I mean at least every couple of months. Devereaux Center is certainly probably the number one, but the sheriff's department buys a lot that they use to get prisoners or inmates, whatever you want to call them, back home after they get out of jail. And so does community corrections. Same general idea, but a lot of them are stuck in Cook Hill and they can't get back, so they can use our buses to get either to Myrtle Point or back to Coos Bay, North Bend. Adapt, Connections, there's a bunch of them. Basically, any local organization that routinely works with low-income people is one of our partners there. And my personal opinion is that this 66% off will be a huge benefit to them because, you know, basically they're 99% grant funded or 90% grant funded, just like we are. And we're saving them money while also, I think, benefiting our service. As far as the percentage of people with passes that someone else paid, it's still not even close to a majority. I'd say 20 to 25 max. Most of the people pay their own way.
Thank you. Mike Marchant, you have a question?
I do. Thank you. Melissa, the information there is, I mean, the data on cost pressures, inflationary pressures, irrefutable, I think, as you presented it. My question, though, is about the mobile app and specifically utilization or potential utilization of the mobile app for elders, people with disabilities, especially physical disabilities. And you're trying to incentivize it, and I think I understand why. It's much less labor intensive. But do we have an idea based on survey data? Do we ask that question about willingness or ability? I'm thinking about just the people that I know, elders in my family, people with disabilities, would probably self-select out and just, not utilize the system. So that's my question for you. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. So the survey results that we received, the number who responded that was very small. And the bulk of the respondents, I mean, a very high number of the respondents were indicated that they had phones. But again, this was an electronic survey, so you would expect that type of correlation. What I can say is the nice thing about this app is that a family member will be able to get onto a portal, or an agency can get onto the portal and load fares on the senior or an individuals with disabilities phone for them remotely, right? You can do that just through a web portal. And so the actual process of purchasing a ticket, at least then they would just have to go to their phone, open the app, and then activate a ticket when they want to use it. And we do have David, our travel trainer, right, who will be available to work with individuals on how to use it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. And then also in that vein, we want our fare structure to be as simple so that there aren't a whole bunch of menu items in the app as well. So all of those efforts, what is going to be the adoption rate in the long run? I cannot answer that today. But if we want younger people and younger generations to not feel like they have to buy a car, that they could use public transit for their day-to-day life and then rent a car or do a ride share to get out of the local area. We want to open that door to the possibility.
Good explanation.
Melissa,
Yes.
I'd like to have Michael Babcock talk about that because he works daily with people with physical disabilities. And I know that he's highly technologically capable, but maybe some of the older people are not. So Michael, what are your thoughts?
I think there's a good opportunity for marketing a mobile application's availability for fares simply by demonstrating to passengers who might have disabilities how to use this, and that's good pre-recorded content that can be evergreen until the app changes. I think it's a very good concern that people might not be able to interact with the app, but if it's a simple menu structure, it should be doable. And there are people out there who don't use smartphones. So having the cash availability, yes, it's going to cost a little more, is helpful for those users who don't have app access.
Good point. Anyone else have any questions or comments in regards to the fare proposals? Melissa, do you have anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to go through some of the comments that we received, and each of our fares. I'm just gonna highlight, I'm not gonna read every single word with respect to the recap of each of our services. But just wanted everyone to make sure we're all on the same sheet of music, that with respect to, we currently have a college discount of 50 cents a trip. It's staff's recommendation again, to discontinue that. That the current elder and disabled discount on local fixed ride at 50 cents. It's staff recommendation that we discontinue that. Punch cards and paper passes. Punch cards would be discontinued and paper passes would be available through the partner agencies. Then, just in all transparency, right? Here's kind of the recap on the survey responses with respect to the local fixed route. And keeping in mind, 31% of these survey respondents has never ridden CCAT, 31% ride daily, and 38% weekly and monthly. And this is a summary of the comments received. The discontinuation of the senior fare is seen as unjust, and there are calls for punch cards and expanded service hours. There are also concerns about the impact of price increases on those already struggling financially. Overall, the respondents are urging the consideration of the needs of seniors and low-income individuals and any changes to transportation services. So again, I'm gonna go back here. Are there any questions?
Tyra's got a question or comment.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm trying to understand this. So for college people now, they were currently paying 50 cents a ride, is that correct? And
well,
now
we don't have any college students who ever submitted an application.
I see. So they're paying the regular fare is what they've been doing. Okay. Yep. And the same with elders then? They've been paying
50 cents.
And now it might go up to $1.50 unless they can get online. So it's going up 3 times.
That's correct.
That seems quite a leap. And then they can't get punch cards. They can only get discounts or a cap if they go online.
They can get punch cards through those agencies.
True, through the agencies.
There's like 12 agencies.
If they are affiliated with the agency. And if the agencies will do that, I used to be a case manager. I wasn't able to get to that very often, or to help, especially help individuals learn how to get online to do that, or help load that on their phone for them. So I'm just wondering about that. There's about not being able to somehow get a punch card for those that fall through the cracks that don't fit any of those categories.
Well, if they meet with David will get them squared away and help them meet the criteria so they can available if they're eligible to be a punch card. All they have to do is contact us.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the key to everything. If they contact us, we know there's a need for services. We have people that don't contact us and then they say, this isn't fair, but we don't know that there's a need because they haven't communicated.
So
and we will help them get what's best for them.
So kind of if they call us,
we can help them.
Or the drivers or something can help steer them. Yeah.
We will have to help David because he'll be the man.
Tyra, one thing that I think is going to be a big benefit is the monthly cap if they use the app. You know, we have physically disabled, mentally disabled, and elderly people that ride our buses. especially on Big Route, every single day, multiple stops.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's one in particular who goes through Coos Elderly Services and spends between $70 and $100 a month. They send us a check every month for her tickets,
Okay.
70 to $100 a month. And, she would cap out at 35. And Coos Elderly Services, instead of sending us a check, could put it straight on that app.
Sure.
So, I mean, she would hugely benefit financially.
Mhm.
Now, are there seniors that are gonna have to pay more? Yes, there are, but the ones that ride a lot, if they can work with us to get that app working, they're gonna save a ton of money.
Mhm.
And one thing that's interesting is Melissa was bringing up the comments. A lot of the comments were negative, but when I went out Thursday, I went out and talked to all the bus drivers. The bus drivers were overwhelmingly saying that the people that actually riding
Mhm.
had no problems with it. Not one negative thing. Even the older, I mean, I specifically asked them, what about the elder people? Said, nope, they don't care. They're not concerned. They think it's just fine. So the actual users that are on our buses regularly don't seem to have any issue with changes. A lot of the people that are complaining, especially on Facebook, if you read through all those, they don't never use our buses.
Yeah, you had 13 surveys and a third of them don't even use the bus.
Yeah.
And they're complaining. They have the right to complain, but they need to utilize the service before they even consider making complaints and communicate with us.
And you should also know that they didn't show up here today.
No, I know. Sure.
So, this is Melissa. The other thing that I'd like us all to consider is that there's many people in Coos County that are low income. And what I would like to see is keeping the price low for all, and not just for a subset. And that's what we're trying to accommodate in an equitable manner for all.
Well, with the fare cap, they can save money guaranteed. Because if they ride the bus a lot, they're gonna pay less than $35. They'll pay $35. They'd pay more than
Yeah, that's about 12 round trips when you divvy it up. So, you know, if they ride it more than 12 times a month,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's it really is a fair proposal. And if the people take advantage of it, they'll actually save money.
Mhm.
Anything more, Melissa?
I can just, are there questions on Coos Go and Coos Lift?
Yes, I have one. Thank you. I was just curious that on Coos Lift, the cash is $3, cap is 70, but on Coos Go, cash $3, but the cap is $7 more, 77 a month. I didn't understand that.
Quarter.
There's quarter more.
Quarter more
Yeah.
difference.
Well,
So,
it is a quarter more difference on the app, but I mean, as far as just cash, you know, anyway, they seemed rather similar, so I was just curious. That one was more, you know.
so legislatively, when we offer paratransit services, which is Coos Lift in the Bay Area, it can't exceed twice the price of our fixed route. And so that's why there's a 50-cent spread between cash and the mobile app. Coos Go, which is demand response microtransit in Bandon and Coquille Myrtle Point. I did the more traditional 25% spread between the mobile app and cash. Primarily because this is a very expensive service in Bandon, Coquille and Myrtle Point. And so I thought it was reasonable.
Okay.
And Sharon, caps are based on 28 rides a month. It's just the way it worked out.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was 23, but my math might not be
Right,
all
but I
that
mean,
great, but
yeah,
like I
if
was
they fix
thinking it was
number.
12 round trip, pretty much, you know, is how I was doing it, but okay.
We
And-
only received one survey comment on Coos Go, Coos Lift. And basically it was from an individual who hasn't ever used the service. and apparently is, per the comment, is too scared to try the service. So I share this because this is an opportunity for David and our communications officer to educate the public about how safe our services are. The timber route, it's currently, you can see that it is 3 zones. And then currently, then there's also that half price. And so in total, from a current price structure, there's 6 different prices that it could be. And so in this effort to simplify our fares, then there's a single cash fee of $3 or the mobile app of $2.75. And there's a monthly cap of $77. And with respect to the survey responses that we received, we only received 3, and 33% or a third never has ridden our timber route, 33% weekly and 33% yearly. And the comment was basically clarifying that CCAT is not discontinuing services to seniors and people with disabilities, just the discount price, and was seeking clarification, and that is correct. And basically commented that any increase is always negative. Well, if we really take a look at this particular ticket price, it's not really going up. If you consider that from zone 1, it's $2, zone 2, $4, zone 3, $6. So if we're doing a cash of $3, it's not really going up per se. And then with the monthly cap that's offered. Questions on timber? Again, that's the route between Coos Bay North Bend and Coquille Myrtle Point 3 times a day. Oops. Florence. We had some great dialogue on Florence internally before we landed on the Florence route, because we do have, for example, a customer who gets on at Gardner and goes into Reedsport to shop and then returns to Reedsport. And $6 for a ride that is less than 10 miles seemed high. And so we had some discussion internally. And so we have added then, if you're getting on or off, like in this example of Gardner to Reedsport, where it is less than 10 miles, we'll just apply the local fixed route rate of $1.50 and $1.25. But in general, most of our riders are going some long throws on Florence, and so cash would be $6, mobile app at $5.75 with a monthly cap of $140. We did receive 1 survey response, and it indicates that our proposed fare increases highly impact elderly people like myself that live on fixed incomes. Any questions or clarifications on Florence? As you can see, we have 6 zones. So that means 12 different price points, variable price points right now on the Florence route. And basically for the driver in the new realm of things would just be managing, $6 or $1.50. So that makes it much simpler for them.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Melissa, how many trips does Florence make in a week?
They
So-
go twice a day, 6 days a week.
Okay,
So most likely, the person is gonna save money.
mhm,
Then, yeah, we can't guarantee they're coming from zone one or whatever, we don't know.
right,
But I mean, the chances are, if you use math, there's 4 chances that they got a chance to save money.
yeah, again, that's 12.
Most likely,
Yeah.
we can't guarantee, but which is good.
Mhm.
Then we have our Roseburg route. From a price point standpoint, it's zone 8, $12. And again, so drivers were potentially managing 16 different price points, depending on where an individual got on and got off. We're proposing sticking with the 12. That seems to be in alignment with our neighboring peers with the mobile app of 1175. We received 0 survey responses. Again, we still have our veterans program, which is in place. So if a veteran has an application on file and is going to Roseburg for health and wellness reasons, they get to ride for free.
And we can't drive to Roseburg for $12.
And I'll tell you that 90+% of the people that book Roseburg are going from here to there for the full 12. There's not a whole lot of stopping.
Good.
And a lot of them are the veterans. Or not. Which don't they don't get charged anything, and they will not get charged anything. Because they're going to the VA hospital up there.
Oh, so a lot of them are veterans.
Currently, yes.
So Melissa's next question is, do you guys have any questions?
Question about the app. Passengers have to have different profiles for each type of fare that they want. The app will automatically calculate the fixed route versus paratransit versus Roseburg.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll get to pick the ticket.
Okay,
Yes.
so they pick it in the app.
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions from any of our board members? Harper, you got a question?
No questions. I mean, I've been following everything along pretty well. And I mean, I can thank Melissa and David and all the staff for all of their work so far. I mean, everything's been really easy to understand. I mean, over the past few days, I've done kind of my own research looking into some other transportation agencies across the state. And I think we're just doing perfect. So thanks to everybody again. Yeah.
Good job, Harper.
I personally would like to thank Harper, Doug, and Tara, who's not here today, they were really good on Facebook at responding to people's concerns and questions. And, that's pretty cool to me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank all of you.
Melissa, do we need a motion?
So there's no motions today. Lauren, did you have a question before we go into the official first reading?
Yeah, I was just wondering on the Florence route, the zone 1 that is at $2, $4 is quite a jump. Is it unreasonable to let that zone stay where it is or lower it? I would be pretty upset if my bus jumped from $2 to $4.
So using that, the example, if they're getting on and off within the 10 miles, then they'll use the local fixed route rate. Oh, and Jane did fabulous prompt, letting us know that if we only want read the title, that will need to be a motion. Otherwise, we get to read the whole document.
I've done it before and I never want to do it again.
I can understand. Can we get a motion in regards to the reading of the first reading of the ordinance 24-1-R by title only, specifically?
And that would be by a board member.
Who doesn't have a gray hair sitting here?
So moved.
Thank you. It's been moved. by
Who was,
Melissa.
who made, oh, Melissa.
Melissa.
Thank you.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Mike, thank you. Mike Clausen. Do we have any questions now? We got a motion and a second to approve by title only.
To read the ordinance by title only.
Exactly. Any questions or comments before we vote? All those in favor of the fare increase or ordinance by title only, sorry. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained. So basically it reads an ordinance setting fares for the use of the district services, ordinance number 24-1-R. It's in that pirate. R. There we go. Ordinance, we've done one reading. Jane Stebbins. Lauren.
Yeah, I think you also want one more motion to approve the first reading and then you can be done with it for today.
Did I get a motion to
We
approve
got 'em all
the
again and
first
then
reading of this ordinance 24-01-R?
Aye.
Shirus, aye. We have a second. Mike Clausen, aye. We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Thank you. So now we'll have another reading at another meeting. Hey, that even rhymes. So do we have anything more for the goodness of the order? Melissa?
Just a reminder, our next meeting is on October 14th, which is Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. We are.
Exactly. Thank you for everyone for coming, either here or on TV. Have a great day.